Hello, crafty friends. It's Shalon here for the Printable Cuttable Creatables design team, back with a little project inspiration for you. If you want to know how to make this adorable love t-shirt, then please keep watching. So in order to make this love t-shirt, I actually combined two of Kristen's files. I used the Love is Love retro stacked SVG cut file, and I also used the hand-drawn heart SVG Freebie cut file. After importing them into my silhouette, first thing I did was I ungrouped the Love is Love retro stacked SVG cut file because I was only interested in the main sentiment, the love. I didn't want this stacked for this particular design. And then what I did was I grabbed the hand-drawn heart SVG Freebie and I just started to pick and choose all of the hearts that I wanted to include in this design. To be honest, I love them all, and I had an original idea of just using just all of those hearts exactly as is in on a shirt. But then when I suggested that idea to the people who were going to be wearing it, my two daughters, they were not such a fan of that. So I added this love and I got winning reviews. I switched the color right there to white because I'm going to do it in white vinyl, and I duplicated both designs because, like I said, I made it for both of my daughters, although you'll see just the youngest one showcased in the final picture. What I'm doing here is I'm grouping them and I'm making sure that I flip the designs horizontally, so I make sure that they are mirrored for HTV, which is a very important step if your machine doesn't do that on your own. After sending it to my silhouette to cut, I take the design here, I trim off a bit of excess HTV, and then I start to weed my design. I typically use just my X-Acto knife for weeding. That just kind of is my go-to tool. I do have a set of weeding tools from Amazon that have a hook, a really pointy, I guess like poking tool, and a pair of tweezers. And I do sometimes reach for those, especially if I want the hook or the really fine needlepoint tweezers. I do use them, but 90% of the time my X-Acto knife does just fine. I do need to apologize for my head here. I like to get up close and personal and when I weed, so I don't forget any spots or any like little bits or pieces. But truth be told, in the first design, the one for my oldest daughter, I did forget to weed the center of a heart. It pressed beautifully, and you can't even tell that it was supposed to be removed, but it wasn't a part of the original vision. You just saw me here at my heat press, and what I did was I folded my t-shirt in half lengthwise and I pressed it, both to do a little bit of a preheat and to find my center. I also do the same with my design. I fold my design on the transfer sheet, not on the design itself, to find the center, and then I align both lines, both the line on the t-shirt and the line on my folded design, to make sure that everything is perfectly centered. I also use a regular plain old T-square that I align at the top of the blue plate in there, just to make sure that I am making my design start. Usually for children's designs, it's about 1.5 to 2 inches below the neckline. Then I press the design for about 15 seconds. I remove the transfer sheet, and then I usually press it for another 5 to 10 seconds just to make sure it's adhered really well. And there you can see the final design. Also, I just use regular plain old parchment paper that's meant for cooking as my cover sheet. I don't use a particular like Teflon sheet or anything like that. I have one. I find that I like the parchment paper better, that my designs adhere better with just the parchment paper. Here I'm using a pressing pillow because after examining the design a little bit more, I wanted to make sure that it was really well adhered, and I didn't feel it was. So I pulled out my pressing pillow, and then I had to adjust the tightness a little bit to make sure that I could clamp it and get that really good press. After that, I am much more much happier with the press after using the pressing pillow. And here is a picture of the final product. Here's my lovely model, who is very excited to have a t-shirt to wear on Valentine's Day and throughout the whole entire month. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.